Have you ever looked at your music stand and just gotten so overwhelmed by all of the books and all of the music that you have to practice this week? I have totally felt that, especially as a college music major. You have so much to work on. You might have scales, etudes, repertoire, chamber music, orchestra, or larger ensemble music. You could be in an opera, you could be in a pit orchestra. There's so much that you might have going on every single week, and especially different points of the semester when performances are coming up. It can be really, really overwhelming. So today I'm going to offer a couple quick fire practice tips to help you get through all of your music and feel as prepared as you possibly can. If you're new here, hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I run the blog lifefromtheviolasection.com, where I share my favorite practice tips, general advice, and tech for musicians. As a music major, you probably feel like you have too much music and not enough hours to practice it all in. Unfortunately, that's totally normal, and you kind of just have to find ways to manage your time as effectively as you possibly can so that the overall level of everything is getting better. Now, that requires some planning ahead and just kind of getting used to different ways of practicing that will speed up the entire process. So some common ways that we will tend to practice if we're stressed that do not help us at all would be 1, just running through everything without fixing little details. Number 2, practicing the same exact thing every day while ignoring the other things that you have going on. And number 3, spending a little bit too much time getting caught up in one thing while accidentally ignoring everything else. So let's get into some ways that you can change those habits and replace them with newer, better ones. So first, we need to do a little bit of a mindset shift. You do not have to do every single thing every single day. Even though that might be ideal and that might sound ideal, realistically, you probably can't do that and do your homework and get to all of your rehearsals and eat and sleep. Those are all important things, and we want to have a well-rounded life because the more life that you live, the better music you can make. The better understanding you have of life and how the world works, the better you're going to understand your music and portray the ideas in your music to everyone else. So don't forget to live your life. But anyway, you kind of have to normalize the idea of rotating your focus. So one day you might focus a little bit more on your orchestral music, and then another day you might focus more on your repertoire. Every day, maybe you practice scales because that's always a good foundation that you want to have, but maybe you don't get to your chamber music on one day, but you make sure that you can rotate and do it on another day. So practicing in this way is smarter because you will go in depth in your music instead of just getting to the surface level of absolutely everything. You can really zoom in and focus on a couple things on one day. You're going to make those things better. And then the next day, you zoom in and focus on things in something else and you make those things better. And it's going to snowball in a good way, make everything better overall. Because if you try to do every single thing every single day, you're only going to break the surface and you will see progress a lot slower in that case. So you might want to break down the different things that you're working on into 3 different categories. One would be maintenance, another would be priorities, and the other would be kind of the rotation pieces. So for me, thinking back to college, my maintenance would be scales, sometimes etudes, or sort of a review piece. Like if I am at the tail end of learning something, I'll just, want to maintain that a bit. Priority would be the most urgent repertoire that you're working on. So maybe if you have a solo recital coming up, that is your priority. Or if you have an audition coming up, whatever excerpts are on that audition is your priority. And my cat Pacho is here. He wants to help you understand the third group, which is rotation pieces. These are things that you still need to practice, but they're not super urgent. So maybe that would be orchestral music. You're in rehearsal, you know what you're doing, but there are a couple spots that you need to do. So you don't need to do that every single day, but you want to make sure that it's getting better. Or maybe you've got an etude that you just kind of want to work on, but it's not top priority. So splitting things into those categories can help you decide, okay, I want to play my most urgent music every single day. I want to rotate through these pieces every other day. I always want to do a little bit of maintenance, but maybe I'll cycle through which scales I do, which etude I work on, something like that. So being able to handle all of the music that you have as a music major requires a lot of thinking and planning ahead, but it's really going to set you up for success if you do. So even with splitting things up, you might not have the most leisurely amount of time to work on every single little thing. So setting a timer or using even the Pomodoro technique can help you stay focused in shorter amounts of time, or just, to make sure that you don't run out of time, especially if you have to get off to a rehearsal or another class or something. So set a timer for 15, 20, 30 minutes to focus on one thing, whether that's one scale, one etude, one piece, no matter what it may be. Set a timer or plan, okay, I'm only going to do this for this amount of time. Or even if you've got a tricky measure, say I'm going to focus on only this for 5 minutes. You can get a lot of work done on a short passage in 5 minutes. It can totally transform things. So use some time management within the practice sessions as well, not just overarching for the week, and you will be able to get things done quicker. Another practice technique that does take up some more time, but I felt like it was truly, truly helpful, was keeping a practice journal. There are many different ways you can do this. You can write it down in a notebook, which is what I used to do. You can use your notes app on your phone. You can use a dedicated practice journal app like on Dante Practice Journal, which I have made some videos on. Pacho really, really wants his lunch right now, so he's just gonna be floating in and out on the screen. So keeping a practice journal, writing down what you've worked on and what you need to get done in the future is so helpful, because you can write down, okay, I did this. Now, next up, I need to get better at this because I was really struggling with this today. Then you can come back the next day and remind yourself, jog your memory of what actually happened the day before. Because, with a crazy schedule, with all of the rehearsals, with all of the information that's being thrown out at you as a college music major, it's so helpful to write things down, because you very well might forget by the next day, or even, if it's a rotational piece and it's been a couple days since you last practiced it, it's probably going to be super difficult to remember what exactly went on in your last practice session. So writing things down, while it takes up a little bit more time on the front end of things while you're writing things down, it can really be a lifesaver when you go to practice again. So I highly recommend doing that. It can even be just short bullet points, like worked on this section. Next time I want to do this. It can be as detailed or as not detailed as you would like, but just to kind of keep some order in your mind with everything else that's going on is so helpful. So feeling overwhelmed with all that is asked of you and all of the music that you have to do is completely, completely normal. I think that basically everyone who has majored in music has felt this at least at one point or another, if not through a lot of their time at college. But with some time management, some planning ahead, and smart practicing, you will get through it and you will succeed and you will learn your music. So it's very hard at first to figure out all of this, especially if you're a new music major, if you're new to college and everything. It is a huge adjustment from anything that you might have come from before. But as you go, you learn how to manage it. You learn how you work the best. And it becomes easier. Even if the music does get a lot harder, managing it all becomes easier. And eventually it will feel like something that you just do. If you are really struggling, you feel very overwhelmed, if your mental health is not good, please talk to someone, whether that's your private teacher or a therapist or a doctor, anyone who might be able to help you. Feeling overwhelmed is normal, but if it is costing you your mental health, then please do whatever you need to get some help and figure out some plans ahead. So I know that's kind of a sad note to end on, but I just want to make sure that you feel good about everything. Even though it's overwhelming, you will get through it and you can do it. So I hope that helps you in your practicing. If you have any questions or if you have any tips that you've gained through college that you would like to share with others, please leave them in a comment down below. I would love for the comment section to be a space for new music majors to come to get some practice tips and overall kind of time and mental management for being a music major. All right, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next week.